Are you truly happy right now, honestly? Most of us would probably hesitate for a moment. We spend our lives relentlessly chasing happiness, yet we rarely stop to deeply consider what it actually is or why it remains so incredibly elusive. Countless self-help books, motivational speakers, and media outlets constantly tell us how to be happy. They promise that positive thinking, goal setting, and hard work will lead us to bliss. Yet the more we follow these prescriptions, the more exhausted and empty we often feel. Why is that? What's going wrong? Here, the great 19th century German philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer offers the most unsparingly honest answers to these questions. His insights can be uncomfortable to hear, even shocking at times. But simultaneously, they offer a crucial pathway to confronting reality and finding genuine peace in our lives. Schopenhauer shatters our illusions about happiness, yet by doing so, he reveals the key to achieving true contentment and tranquility. Today, we're going to dive deep into the true nature of happiness. As revealed by Schopenhauer specifically, the dynamic interplay between our fundamental desires and inherent suffering. We'll explore his practical solutions for navigating this complex reality. By the end of this video, your entire perspective on happiness might be completely transformed. You'll stop chasing a fleeting ideal and instead gain the wisdom to understand life's true nature, allowing you to live with greater peace and purpose. Part 1. Human nature is endless desire. The blind shackles of the will. Schopenhauer defined the essence of human nature with a single word, the will. But don't confuse this with conscious willpower or our rational ability to make choices. Schopenhauer's will is something far more profound. It's a fundamental, irrational life force, a ceaseless, insatiable impulse that transcends reason and logic. It's the underlying drive to constantly want, crave, and pursue. The very fact that we are alive signifies that we are continuously desiring, propelled by this inherent will. Think about it. When was the last time you genuinely wanted nothing at all? Such a moment likely doesn't exist. If you're hungry, you want food. If you're lonely, you crave connection. If you're stressed, you long for rest. Achieve one goal, and you experience a brief flicker of satisfaction, only to immediately set your sights on a bigger, newer objective. You earn some money and you want more money. You gain recognition and you seek greater fame. Even when you're simply resting, you might find yourself fidgeting or seeking new stimulation. This is what Schopenhauer called the blindness of the will. We constantly desire without fully knowing what it is we truly seek, like a hamster ceaselessly running on a wheel. This blind will is an eternal hunger that can never truly be satisfied. Its cravings are bottomless. Modern psychological research strongly supports Schopenhauer's insights. A study by Harvard University found that people spend approximately 47% of their waking hours thinking about something other than what they are currently doing. In other words, we are perpetually dissatisfied with the present moment, always yearning for something else. Our minds are constantly preoccupied with future achievements or past regrets, rarely settling into the now. Schopenhauer famously described this state by saying, "Man is a pendulum, swinging between desire and boredom." When we intensely desire something, we experience suffering due to that very lack. When we finally obtain what we've yearned for, we feel a fleeting sense of satisfaction and happiness. But this contentment fades remarkably quickly, and boredom soon sets in. To escape this boredom, we generate new desires, thereby trapping ourselves in an endless cycle of longing, suffering, and brief, superficial satisfaction. It's like a thirsty person drinking seawater. The more they drink, the more their thirst intensifies, rather than being quenched. For Schopenhauer, human life was an inescapable repetition of this suffering and boredom. Part 2. Why achievements don't bring lasting happiness. The negative nature of satisfaction. In contemporary society, we tend to strongly equate success with happiness. We believe that a better job, a higher salary, a bigger house, luxury goods, a large social media following, or widespread societal recognition will ultimately lead us to genuine happiness. We often sacrifice our time, energy, and even well-being working tirelessly toward these goals. But is that truly the case? More often than not, the feeling we experience after achieving something difficult is not the eternal happiness we anticipated, but rather a brief, fleeting sense of satisfaction, followed by an inexplicable emptiness. Schopenhauer, 2 centuries ago, already saw through the fundamental illusion of this belief. He unequivocally declared, All satisfaction is in its nature negative. This statement can sound perplexing at first. How can satisfaction be negative? According to Schopenhauer, all human pleasure and satisfaction are fundamentally the absence of suffering. For example, imagine you finally bought that new car you've been dreaming about for months. For the first few days, you're genuinely thrilled, feeling as if you've gained everything. But what about a week later? A month later? The car ceases to bring that special joy and simply becomes part of your daily routine. This is because the suffering of craving and lacking the car has disappeared. But no new, positive, and permanent state of happiness has been created. It's like feeling full after hunger. Being full isn't a new positive happiness in itself, but merely the state of not being hungry. Indeed, research by Nobel laureates Daniel Kahneman and Angus Deaton found that beyond an annual income of approximately $75,000 in the U.S., additional income has little to no impact on daily emotional well-being. This aligns perfectly with Schopenhauer's insight: once basic needs are met, more possessions don't proportionally increase happiness. Money can reduce suffering, but money itself doesn't directly create lasting happiness. Even more striking is the research on lottery winners. People who win vast sums of money are initially ecstatic, but after about a year, their happiness levels tend to return to roughly the same level as before their win. Some studies even report that lottery winners, in some cases, become unhappier than they were before. This phenomenon is called hedonic adaptation, a concept Schopenhauer had already foreseen centuries ago. Humans rapidly adapt to positive changes and quickly become accustomed to new standards, resetting their baseline of perceived happiness. So why do we persistently seek happiness through external achievements? Schopenhauer called this the trick of the will. The will constantly creates new goals and desires to keep us living, reproducing, and striving for species preservation. Like a donkey being led by a carrot dangled in front of it, we are perpetually running towards a complete and permanent satisfaction that we can never truly reach. This trick propels human progress, but for the individual, it inevitably leads to frustration and a sense of emptiness. Part 3. Why modern society makes us more unhappy. The amplification of desire. Compared to the 19th century when Schopenhauer lived, modern society is materially far richer. Humanity has achieved unimaginable scientific and technological advancements and enjoys unprecedented material abundance. So why aren't we happier? In fact, mental health issues like depression, anxiety disorders, and insomnia are increasing at an alarming rate. Data often shows that life satisfaction in many developed countries is stagnant or declining, and rates of mental illness are on the rise. Why does this paradox exist? Analyzing this through Schopenhauer's philosophy, modern society is specifically structured to intensely stimulate and amplify our desires. We are bombarded by countless stimuli and comparison points that were unimaginable in the 19th century. For example, social media constantly showcases curated, perfect versions of other people's lives, making us feel inadequate. Someone's luxurious vacation photos, successful career milestones, or seemingly idyllic family life can trigger a profound sense of lack and inferiority within us. We find ourselves asking, why can't I live like that? Advertisements cunningly create new desires we didn't even know we had, constantly pushing us to consume for a better life. The latest smartphone, a bigger TV, new fashion trends. We are led to believe that owning these things is essential for happiness. Schopenhauer stated, human suffering is proportional to the intensity of desire. Because modern society pushes our desires to such extreme levels, we experience greater suffering and unhappiness than ever before. 100 years ago, people primarily compared themselves to those in their immediate village or community. Their comparison pool was limited. But now, we compare ourselves to billionaires, celebrities, and influencers from across the globe. This relentless upward comparison inevitably makes us feel small, insufficient, and perpetually lacking. We are caught in an endless state of dissatisfaction. Furthermore, modern society creates the paradox of choice. This is an extreme amplification of Schopenhauer's blindness of the will. Faced with countless options, we are constantly overwhelmed by the need to choose, burdened by the compulsion to make the best decision. And even after making a choice, we often regret that another option might have been better, tormented by the lingering thought of what we missed out on. Just buying a smartphone requires weeks of research, comparing dozens of models and hundreds of features. Picking a movie on Netflix means deciding from thousands of options. Even seemingly minor daily choices, what to eat, what to wear, where to travel, are made amidst an immense flood of information. This deluge of choices, far from offering freedom, leads to decision fatigue, exhaustion, and increased anxiety. Schopenhauer had already foreseen these phenomena. He warned, "The more desires, the more pain." Modern society offers us the possibility of infinite desires, but simultaneously, it presents us with the possibility of infinite suffering. The very mechanisms designed to make our lives easier and more fulfilling often end up doing the opposite by perpetually stoking the unquenchable fire of our will. Part 4. So, what's the solution? The path to acknowledging and transcending suffering. Hearing all this might initially feel despairing. If human nature is endless desire and life is an inescapable cycle of suffering and boredom, can we ever truly be happy? Schopenhauer didn't simply point out human misery. He argued that it is only by confronting and accepting this harsh reality that we can find true peace. Just as understanding the root cause of an illness is the first step toward a cure, comprehending the true nature of suffering allows us to find liberation from it. Let's explore the 3 solutions Schopenhauer proposed. The first solution is the minimization of desire. Schopenhauer stated, "A happy life is not about satisfying desires, but about reducing desires themselves." This doesn't mean advocating for a strict form of asceticism or renouncing everything. Instead, it signifies the wisdom to distinguish between what we genuinely need and what we merely want out of habit, societal pressure, or a fleeting impulse. When we reduce our desires, the suffering that arises when those desires are unfulfilled also diminishes. This is precisely why modern movements like minimalism and philosophies of simple living are gaining such traction. By reducing material possessions, simplifying complex relationships, and avoiding unnecessary information and stimulation, we can step out of the whirlpool of desire and achieve a more peaceful state. This is a subtle yet profound shift. Instead of actively pursuing something more, it's about actively shedding what is unnecessary. Since satisfaction is merely the absence of suffering, reducing the desires that cause suffering becomes the most sensible approach. The second solution is transcendence through art and philosophy. Schopenhauer believed that through appreciating art or engaging in deep philosophical contemplation, we can temporarily escape our individual will. When we listen to beautiful music, watch a moving film, or read a profound book, we momentarily forget our personal desires and sufferings, feeling connected to something larger and more universal. In these moments, we enter a state of pure contemplation. These instances are what Schopenhauer called liberation from the will. Art, through its objective beauty, temporarily stills our individual will and elevates us to a state of pure cognition. Philosophical contemplation, by delving into the fundamental nature of existence, allows us to transcend personal suffering and mortality, leading to insights into universal truths. While these moments are temporary, their accumulation can help us live lives less consumed by rampant desire. Through these transient experiences of transcendence, we can find respite from life's suffering and gain a sense of profound calm. The third solution is compassion for others. Schopenhauer argued that when we realize all beings experience the same fundamental suffering, we can transcend our selfish desires. Believing that one is uniquely suffering is an illusion of the will. When we deeply understand that others too are tormented by endless desires and pain, we cultivate a universal sense of compassion and understanding, rather than selfish competition or envy. Modern psychological research supports this as well. Numerous studies show that acts of service or kindness towards others genuinely increase our own happiness and well-being. This isn't just about helping others, it's about shifting our focus outward, empathizing with the suffering of others, and thereby temporarily escaping the confines of our own desires and pain. This aligns perfectly with Schopenhauer's concept of liberation through compassion. Recognizing universal suffering and feeling compassion becomes a crucial foundation for living an ethical life. Liberated from the grip of our egoistic will. Part 5. Practical, actionable advice based on Schopenhauer's philosophy. Schopenhauer's philosophy, while sometimes perceived as pessimistic, actually offers incredibly realistic and actionable wisdom for our daily lives. How can we apply his profound insights to navigate the complexities of modern existence? Here are a few concrete suggestions to get you started. First, cultivate a desire check-in habit. Whenever you intensely want something or feel the urge to purchase something new, pause for a moment and ask yourself honestly, will obtaining this truly make me happy forever? Or will I just feel satisfied for a brief period, only to desire something else again soon after? Is this a genuine need, or is it a desire created by societal comparisons or clever advertising? This self-questioning practice can help you see through the ephemeral nature of desire and significantly reduce unnecessary consumption and futile pursuits. Second, practice stopping comparisons. Make a conscious effort to limit your social media use and deliberately avoid comparing your life to others. Schopenhauer asserted, "Happiness comes from not comparing oneself to others." Remember, the lives portrayed by others, especially online, are often heavily edited and exaggerated. Their struggles and pains are almost never visible. It's crucial to focus on your own unique life journey and find contentment at your own pace and in your own way. Third, practice focusing on the present moment. Engage in practices like meditation or mindfulness to truly inhabit this very moment, this very space. By freeing yourself from regrets about the past and anxieties about the future, you can escape the whirlpool of desire and boredom, experiencing moments of genuine peace. You can start simply by focusing on your breath, or fully savoring the aroma and warmth of a cup of tea. Fourth, practice finding small joys. Instead of seeking happiness through grand achievements or material acquisitions, look for peace in the small, simple moments of everyday life. The warmth of the morning sun, a favorite song, a single page from a good book, a brief conversation with a loved one, or the beauty of nature during a walk. These small joys often offer moments of pure contemplation, free from the interference of the will, bringing a genuine sense of tranquility. Fifth, try practicing gratitude. Schopenhauer taught that we find peace when we are grateful for what we have, instead of complaining about what we lack. Every night before bed, simply writing down 3 things you are grateful for from that day can significantly shift your perspective towards positivity. A grateful mindset reduces the suffering that arises from feelings of lack and enhances your contentment with the present. Sixth, practice helping others. When we help others, we temporarily step outside of our own desires and pains, focusing instead on the existence and needs of others. This doesn't require grand gestures like volunteering or large donations. You can start by simply offering small acts of kindness in your daily life. Guiding someone who is lost, listening empathetically to a struggling friend, or offering a kind word. These actions can liberate you from the shackles of your egoistic will, allowing you to experience the joy of compassion and connection. Schopenhauer's message, at first glance, might seem bleak and even despairing. His assertion that human life is fundamentally suffering might appear to crush our hopes. However, his true teaching lies in this very point. By confronting and accepting this harsh reality, we can achieve genuine freedom and peace. Rather than endlessly suffering by chasing an impossible ideal of happiness, we gain the wisdom to understand life's true nature and find the serenity that is possible within it. We don't need to completely abandon the pursuit of perfect happiness. However, it's crucial to truly understand the nature of happiness and cultivate realistic expectations. For Schopenhauer, happiness is not a destination. It's a process of liberation from desire and an experience of the absence of suffering. It's not about acquiring something, it's about accepting and embracing the fundamental nature of existence. Schopenhauer stated, "Life is suffering, but it is by understanding and accepting this that we can finally find peace." This is not resignation, it is profound wisdom. It means not letting the pursuit of an impossible perfect happiness overshadow and steal the peace that is possible right here, right now. Finally, remember these profound words from Schopenhauer. We are unhappy if we don't get what we want, but we are also unhappy if we do get what we want. So wouldn't it be better not to want at all? This is the cold, yet ultimately liberating path to happiness offered by Schopenhauer. Letting go of the illusion of perfect happiness and cultivating the peace that is available in the here and now. Isn't this truly what we should strive for? If today's discussion was helpful, please hit the like button. If you want more deep philosophical insights, subscribe and turn on notifications. Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. We'll be back with more fascinating philosophical discussions soon.